Yo, welcome to, I think it is now, to be honest, 14th week. Apparently it's been 100 days since we were locked down today, 100 days. So however many weeks that is, that's how long we've been coming back and doing this. Great to see you all dropping in, appreciate it. Today, well, I decided that I've been struggling a little bit with trying to think up stuff to cook every single week that's going to be easy enough for people to access at home, for the young people who I work with to be able to do, the youth clubs. I think the easiest way to do that is probably to pick a country each week and make that the theme, or some kind of a theme anyway. Let me get rid of these shades. And so this week we're going to do India. One of these dishes I'm going to make for you now are things that my old man used to make every single week almost. In that we're not Indian, but he really makes banging curries. But we're going to make pakoras, which is vegan or vegetarian, depending on which way you go. A little sort of snack, a bit like an onion bhaji, only tastier. And we're going to make some samosas, which I've made a few times, and generally they're, they come out all right. So let's hope they do today. All right, Martin, how you doing, mate? Martin, who's just said hello, is the guy that I was fishing with on Friday. If you saw that, he's retracted the message. Oh, not hi to you either. Never mind. Anyway, right, I'm going to carry on. I'm going to get going. So, got all this kit behind me. We're in the house today. You're going to have to bear with me using this terrible. Sorry for you, because every time I use this every week, if you do tune in weeks and you've seen me cooking indoors, you know I absolutely hate this thing. So if we have issues, apologies. Right. Anyway, I'm gonna stop. Hey, what's going on here? See, the power's gone off already. Nightmare. Right. Okay. So we're gonna get started with the first thing, which is it's all about kind of a bit of timing really, and messing around to make sure that we can get everything done in the time needed. So first thing we're going to do is prep the pakoras, all right? So the first thing we need for pakoras is gram flour. Now this is chickpea flour, so it's milled, dried chickpeas. So it means it's packed full of protein. It's really, if you like just, I'm not that you go around eating flour really, but if you have it in your mouth just raw, you'll be like, oh my God, that is disgusting. It's really, really bitter and tastes horrible, like as on its own, nothing like just normal flour, which isn't great, but this is rough. However, it makes the most delicious, fluffy, awesome pakoras. So we're going to need about 200 grams of that. So we're going to whack that in there, like so. Okay, then we're going to start to add in some flavours. So we've got some cumin seeds. Now these are going to go in whole. They give a little bit of texture, mad flavour. Absolutely, this is a brand new packet as well, so they're like super, super fragrant, awesome ingredient to have. Absolutely love it. Garam masala. Now garam masala is a blend of spices, and if you don't have a garam masala at home, I would say the key ones you need in here are ground coriander, ground cumin, some, let's say, let's read what's on here. This one is cloves, star anise, black pepper, cinnamon, coriander, cumin and ginger. Okay, so it's just a blend of spices really. But if you just grab some garam masala, it makes life so much easier. This one is actually from the Spice Kitchen that makes some incredible spice blends. I'm hopefully going to be making some of my rubs for me soon to sell. So watch the space on that one. So about a tablespoon of garam masala in there. Turmeric. This is more for colour than anything. Turmeric has awesome properties for your belly as well. Really, really good for your stomach. There's virtually no bowel cancer in India, and they reckon that's down to ginger, chilli, and garlic. Turmeric, not garlic. Ginger, chilli, and turmeric. Really, all really good for your guts. So that's gone in. Okay, good pinch of salt, like so. More. And then I'm going to go mix all that together. So that's kind of mixed up. Then we're going to go in with some natural yogurt. So I'd say 200 grams, you probably want about maybe 3 to 4 tablespoons, and I'm talking like dessert serving spoons here, of natural yogurt in there. Let's go for 3, and one more, 4. Okay, what we're going to do is work all that together now and just see where we're at with regard to consistency. So I want to get this to like the kind of consistency of like a McDonald's milkshake, so like a thick batter. So we're just going to keep working that. You don't want to have too much batter. It's good to make, it's a bit like when I make coleslaw. I hate it when coleslaw is kind of saturated in the mayo and the liquid. You want to make sure we've got lots of veggies in here and just a little bit of batter, kind of just holding it all together so we don't end up with a big mouthful of sort of stodgy batter. Okay, so I brought that together now to like a thick paste, like so. So I'm just going to be able to show you. In fact, I'll come round as I usually do, come give you a closer look at the bowl. So we kind of mix that up to almost like a dough, which you could potentially work into like, you know, some sort of chapatis or something. Not going to do that today though. The rest of the water that's going to go in there, well, the rest of the liquid that's going to go in there is water. You're going to add a little bit. As I say, always when you're adding things like this, you can always add more, but you can't take it out. So just add a little bit, work it in, make sure it's all mixed together. Keep working that. Like so. That's coming together. It's thickening up. Probably going to need a little bit more. By making the paste first with the yogurt, you've got to make sure that you don't get any lumps in this. If you went in straight in the liquid, you're going to really struggle to knock the lumps out of the flour. Whereas if you start with the paste, it's so much easier. So that's kind of getting to a thick consistency now. Still too thick though, so we're going to go for a tiny bit more water. That's probably going to be enough, I would have thought. So let's have a look at that now. So if I just show you again where we're at with that. So if you can see, whoa, nearly dropped it on the floor, that would have been a disaster. That's kind of, yeah, maybe a little bit thicker than a McDonald's milkshake, but not much. It needs to be thick enough to grab hold of the extras that go in here. Okay, so I'm going to put that to one side. In fact, I'm going to have a little taste. It's going to taste rough. You have to sort of almost forget the raw chickpea flour flavour and just decide, is there enough salt in there? Yes. Is there enough spice flavour? Yes, I think so. Maybe a tiny bit more garam masala. Just run in with, you know, your instinct really. So I've gone for another teaspoon of garam masala in there. That'll do. I'm going to work that in, and that batter looks absolutely perfect now. Sort of like chip batter really. Well, not chip batter, like, you know, if you're doing fish and chips, or around here they did batter chips in the West Midlands, and they're the best chips in the world. Orange chips. You haven't tried them, go and find some. Right, so that's that done. Next thing, cauliflower. So I'm working all the way along it, and you put this down. So work through that way, and then across. There we go. That was quick and easy. That's going to go straight into the batter mix, like so. Next thing, I'm just going to clear that off. Next thing is a couple of red onions. So we're going to go slice in half top to bottom, head and tail off, skin off. Put to one side. And then we're just going to slice these down the middle into thin, long strips, because again, they will, if you cut it into really small pieces, it's not really going to grab the batter in the same way as it does when you do it like this. So you've got your onion long lengthways like that, and you're just going to go straight through. Okay, that's one. I'm going to go for 2 onions. Okay, and then pick them up, scrunch to break up those layers, get that in there. And a second onion. skin. And again. And then let's get rid of these bits. These are my garam masala underneath my throwaways. Okay, and then straight down. Okay, then that one. Go. Doesn't matter if you get some bigger chunks and stuff, because when you're making these pakoras, it's really great to get some texture. Okay, I'm going to go for one red chili. I'm going to take the seeds out. So I'm going to go down the middle, seeds out, and actually I'm not going to chop this too fine because I prefer to have a little slither of chili here and there in your pakoras rather than it sort of getting lost. So I'm going to go across the chili, the half sliced chili. You need to cut it into nice thin little ribbons. So you just get the odd fleck of chili. My eyes are going, I'm struggling here with those onions. Okay, so that's across there. And again. I'd probably put 2 or 3 of these in if it's up to me, but I don't want them not to be able to eat it. So 1 chili's fine. Okay, coriander. I'm going to take half of this because I need the other half for later on. Fresh coriander. Rough fresh coriander. Like that. Stalks and all into your mix, and then literally just going to pull everything together. So just going to mix it all up. So we end up with a sort of coated. All the vegetables are coated in the sauce, in the batter, and then we're going to let that just chill for like 15 minutes or so while we do everything else. Okay, so that's good. So we've got your pakora batter there. I'm going to bring that up to you so you can just see roughly how coated it needs to be. So I'm going to show you this again. So that's the mixture. Now with all the cheese and the batter mixed in. Okay, so that's just going to chill. Next, I'm going to go on to here. I'm going to go for a medium heat. And I'm going to put a little bit of oil into the pan. I'm going to start off with some more onion. So this time I'm going to chop them differently because they're going into the samosa. You don't really want long strands. You want to have kind of smaller cubes really. So I'm just going to, let me just skin both of these at the same time. Makes life quicker. Oh, you know what I forgot actually? One thing I forgot to put into the pakora batter was half a lemon as well. 3 days. Just gives it a little bit of a zing. Counteracts with that chili. It's lovely. Right, sorry about that. Right, back to what I was doing. So second onion chopped. Okay, this is getting quite hard. We want to get these onions fried hard. And you know, whenever I do any curries, I always fry the onions to almost burning. You know, you want to get them almost blackening, and that brings like a new depth of flavour from those onions. So we'll get those going first, whilst I chop up the other bits that we need. So let's skin that one. And again, I don't want to chop these so small that you don't notice them in the samosas, but at the same time, I don't want to have the long pieces. So I'm going to go along like I normally would, along the grain and then across the grain for say 4. So you end up with sort of like a bit smaller than centimetre square kind of pieces of onion. And across. And one more. And look, onions, you think, you know, you've got loads of it here. It looks like a stack of onion that for a few samosas. But as soon as you cook them down, they go to nothing. And the more you've got in there, the more intense the flavour is going to be. So a couple of onions is fine. That's smoking, so that's good. Nice bit of heat there. We might end up with a bit of smoke in here. It's not geared up for, this is my dining room. It's not really geared up for this. But we'll survive. Spoon out of there, get that moving, keep that going. Right, into the pan with that. Oil will sort of get the flavours of those moving. Get that moving around there. All gravy. Okay. Alright. Get those working. Alrighty. Next, bit of ginger. So, teaspoon, learned this trick the other week. This is probably a really commonly known trick, but I only found it out the other day. You can just peel ginger with the back of a spoon, and you save loads of it. Peels really, really easily. Just going to slice that into small bits. Slice it up. Okay. There's probably quicker ways of chopping this. This is my self-taught method. I like to call it the seesaw method. Just kind of put your hand on top of the blade, rock it back and forth. Okay, so you're moving. This pan is crazy hot. It's on this induction what's-a-majigger, depending on what they're called. Induction hob. I really hate these things, but there we go. It means that I can cook in my dining room with you guys, so it's not all bad. Right, so that's working really nicely. Okay, ginger's going to go in there next. Finely chopped ginger, there's a thumb of ginger in there, going into the pan. Okay, we're going to go for some garlic now. Keep moving that. So that's breaking down really nicely. I always say if you're trying to reduce onions as well, a pinch of salt will really help to draw the moisture out, which is ultimately what we're doing, trying to intensify the flavours of the actual onion, bring out the sweetness. When it starts to stick to the pan, you know it's good, because that means that all the sugars are starting to release, all the liquid's gone, and it's really starting to give us those caramelised delicious flavours we're looking for. Right, next, 3 cloves of garlic. Just bash them with a knife, slip them out of their pyjamas, and then we'll give them the seesaw chopping treatment as well. Again, you know, this doesn't have to be too fine. This is, you know, this is like street food. This is what, you know, when you're in India, you can grab one of these on pretty much every street corner. You can grab a samosa. You know, I'm sure you're all very au fait with samosas. I'm not teaching you to suck eggs. But you just think those guys, they're not going to be taking loads of time over this. It's about just getting the flavour in there. So, get those chopped up finely. Keep that moving. There we go. Get that moving. Now we're going to move quickly because the garlic will burn if you leave it in there for too long, and then it gets bitter. So it's the last thing we want. We're going very quickly. We're going to go for the whole chilli this time. Okay, and then just chop. And I am going to chop that finely this time, not to fleck. I'm going to turn this power on now because those onions have reduced down nicely. They're starting to caramelise. I don't want them to cook any further. Potato. It wasn't until I started about half an hour ago I realised I didn't actually have any potatoes in the house, which is a bit of a bummer when you told everybody to bring potato. But I've got some sweet potatoes, and that'll work just as well because I love sweet potato, and I think it's going to bring a different flavour, and it'll be really, really interesting. So I've boiled those, skinned them and boiled them, so they go into the pan, and I'm just going to work the back of the fork through them to mash them and mix them into everything else that we've got in this pan to make sort of like a mash with a spicy mash, really. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to add in there is some garam masala. So there's about a tablespoon of that left. It's going to go in. Okay, and a tiny bit of turmeric. Not that it's needed because we've got, well, it brings a little bit of flavour. We'll usually use it for colour. And the sweet potato is going to bring it anyway. So that's cool. So we're going to make that mixture up. Let's mix it all together. That's awesome. Okay, that looks great. And then finally, again, some fresh coriander, roughly chopped. Alright then, that's going to go in there. We'll mix that through as well. So we're building up the prep. Nice and easy. Right, I'm going to leave that in an open pan. Spread it out as much as you can. I mean, ideally, don't use a really heavy bottom pan. It'll take ages to cool down. But that, I'll show you, is the mixture. Can't really see, the lighting's a bit bad in here. Maybe you can see now. That's better. It's going to go in the samosas. So that is a bit hot. In fact, I'm going to put that on top of my pakora mixture so it doesn't burn my table. Okay, next thing then is I'm going to get the fat on ready. So apologies that the noise of this is going to kick up again. But we kind of need that. So let the fat heat up whilst I get the next bit done. So we'll just have a little clean down, get rid of this. Okay, and in fact I'll get rid of everything that's up here. And I've got some blue roll, so we'll just give this a bit of a wipe. Just get cleared down. You see the state of this place when I'm finished. It takes me about half an hour to clean up after you lot are gone. And for this week's item that I've forgotten, because I always forget something, rolling pin. Give me 2 seconds, I'm going to go and grab it. Okay, I'm back, that was quick. Right, I'm going to let that door open as well because it's getting quite smoky and smelly in here. Right, okay, so I've got some plain flour here. I'm going to save some on the side of the board for rolling. Probably about 150 grams in there. I don't need an awful lot because we're going to make small samosas. I'm not going to make that many of them now because you'll be bored watching. So I'm just going to show you how to make 1 or 2. So we just need a pinch of salt in there. I'm going to use a pinch of black onion seeds if you've got them. These are not essential, but it just makes it look super cool basically. Get those in there. And they give an amazing flavour. I love black onion seeds. Tastes incredible. And then we're going to go for a little bit at a time, water. And then I'm just going to get one hand in there. Well, I'll probably have to go off and wash my hands in a sec once I've done this. We're just going to pull a bit more. And we're just going to make a very soft, simple bread dough. So as I say, add a little bit at a time. Work it together. You can always take it out. Sorry, you can always add more, but you can't take it out. So again, that applies exactly the same here. So I don't need any more water there at all. That's fine. And then once it all comes together in the bowl, and get it onto the board, and just knead it. Work it into, just work some of those fibres, get it nice and elastic, like you would pizza bread or pizza dough or any other kind of dough you're making. Just give it a good few minutes of kneading, and it'll make such a difference to the end result. I know it's not a bread, but it's sort of like it kind of is. It's like a fried bread around the outside of these. Really, really simple, but so good. Absolutely love samosas. They're one of my favourite things ever. And I think the veggie ones are good. You know, like, I mean, we've gone vegetarian today because a lot of people keep saying, no, meat, can you do more vegetarian food? Because I do eat too much meat. And to be honest with you, whenever I order an Indian now, I generally don't order any meat. I just order the veggie stuff because it is usually better. And when I've been in India, I've been a couple of times now, the best dishes I've had have been vegetarian by far. And I think it's the ultimate country for vegetarian food. It's just incredible. You just don't need meat in Indian food. You know, I love a bit of tandoori chicken as much as the next one, but like there's so much out there, and the spices they use and everything just works so well with vegetables that it's almost pointless having meat, really. I just realised I'm rocking away at this table and I've got some rather hot fat next to me, so I've just got to be a little bit careful. Right, so that feels quite elastic now and good. Right, so I'd say that's going to make about 8 samosas. So I'm just going to portion that up now so we get even. So I'm only going to make 4 for you now because otherwise we'll be here all day. So I'm going to go half half again, and then those pieces in half again, and half again. And that's going to get me 8 roughly equal dough balls. We'll put those to one side and just do one at a time. Right, so we're going to roll these out into circles. So just, and the thinner you can get these, to be honest, the better they're going to be. So put that into a little round ball now. And then whenever we're making anything round, you start with something round, you should end up with something round. So you just can keep working these into a nice, thin, little, what looks like a flatbread. Okay? Like so. Get it nice and thin. Tiny bit more. Get it really thin, because it's going to make it so much nicer when you have these. Honestly. Right, okay. Now, I'm going to take some of my mixture from here. So you can just see what I'm doing. I'm just going to put it there. I'm going to take a good dollop of that into the middle. Now, can you actually see what I'm doing? Just about, I think. Move it to one side, and you should be able to get that out of the way. So we've got the mixture in there, and it's kind of like, you can start with a triangular shape. Again, you start roughly with a shape that you want to end up with. You're always going to have much more of a chance of it looking something like what you want it to. So we're going to take one corner over like that, okay, and then the next corner over there, like that, which leaves the final corner, which I'm going to just fold a little bit in on either side, and then we're going to take a little bit of water across there, dab the water across, and then just seal off that samosa. And there we have. You can pick it up and just squeeze the edges. Make sure that they're not going to lose it, not going to open up, but the water should seal it off. And then we can just leave that to one side, or we make some more. As I say, I'm just going to do 4. Excuse me, it's not coronavirus. It's just the spices in this air here. Got no extraction. Okay, so I'm going to go for another one, just so you can see the process again. Can you actually see what I'm doing? I think just about. So I'm going to keep going nice and thin. Oops. Right, there we go, nice and thin again. So mixture in, nice generous pile of mixture in the centre, make it into a rough triangle, fold it over again, corners in, wet, right there, and wrap it all up. Okay, so that's sealed that one off, and then as I say, you can just pick it up and finish it off with your hands. Try not to get water all over the board where you're rolling stuff out, because you're going to make it difficult for yourself like I just did. So I'm going to leave these in the flour, otherwise I'm not going to be able to peel them off the table afterwards. Okay, so let's go for a couple more. Plenty more flour to counteract that water. Into a circle, roll it out, flip over. Notice how I do 2 or 3 rolls and flip. And it's going towards an oblong, so you flip it and turn it 90 degrees, then turn it again. And it'll just mean that you'll end up with a pretty circular I don't know what you call this really, casing I suppose. Okay, really put some pressure down. Get it nice and thin, again, nice round thing to work with. Let's get that mixture in there. Cool. Shouldn't be licking my fingers, but it's my family, and actually, I didn't taste that before. It's decent. Might need a pinch of salt though. So I'm going to put a little pinch in there. And I can't believe I didn't taste it for that before. I'm going to put some salt into the rest of the mixture, so hopefully that will be even better now. Got two that are slightly unsalted. It's my bad, it's because I'm on camera. I forget what I'm doing. Right, okay, so fold it in, wet, over there, and then fold it over. Okay, pick it up. And seal it in. Oops. And if you get these empty bits in the corner, that's alright, you know, because you know when if you've had proper samosas from an Indian place, the best bits, and I'm not talking about the rubbish you get in the supermarket or whatever, I'm talking like a proper Indian samosa shop. You always get a real nugget of like just fried, incredible. And that's just where it's not quite filled. And it's not a bad thing. So don't try and overfill these to the point where they're difficult to work. You know, there's plenty of filling in those. And if the edges are a bit overdone, over cased, if you like, then so be it. You know, it's not going to kill you. Well, I think deep frying is obviously a method that we try not to do too much of in this country, because of the fat content and stuff. But obviously, you know, over in India, where you've got a lot of people with very little money, it's going to give a lot of energy as well. So something like this, full of potato, fat, spices, you know, it's going to keep people going for the day. So that's where it comes from, and that's why it's so delicious. Carbohydrates and fat, you know. Right, last one. So let's get that filled in. Okay, so side up, 2, fold, and then wet, across there. Okay, and we're going to bring it all together. Alright, so that's 4 samosas. Now I would have made 8, but I don't want you to sit and watch me make 8, so I'll probably make another 4 once I'm finished. So that's 4 to go. Right. And they are pretty much settled down and all good. Right, I'm just going to get my hands washed and grab a like a spoon with holes, and I'll be back in 2 secs. Alrighty then, so what we need now is, first of all, it seems to be, I have used this fat before, like earlier in the week, and it's got some sort of a little scum on the top, so I'm just going to remove that, because that's not going to do us any favours. We've got some nice boiling fat underneath, which is great, or hot fat underneath, which is superb. That's out of the way. What we do need to have ready is a tray with some blue roll or kitchen roll in to sort of soak up the fat as these things come out. So I'd probably say that for the samosas, we are going to do 2 at a time. Just put some stuff down in the tray. So I'm going to drop these in. Whoop, go for these 2 first. Okay, so just, if you're going to drop them in by hand, just drop them away from you. You want the oil to be at about 170, something like that. Not too hot, but hot enough to make sure that you don't end up with a really sort of saturated kind of coating, you know. So those are ticking away in there. Whilst they're ticking away, I'm going to move that. I'm going to think about, and I've got a bit of a mess going on here, but that's fine. I'm just going to make that sauce. So you do this one of 2 ways. You can either chop the mint with your by hand and just mix it into the yogurt with a bit of lemon juice, or you can use like a NutriBullet type thing, or a blender or whatever. Now, if you do it with a blender, you will end up with a much looser sauce. The blending up yogurt tends to mean that it sort of loses the fact that it's set and it almost goes quite liquidy. I quite like that. If you prefer it to be thicker, then, you know, basically just do it by hand and you can mix it together slowly. You don't have to put it in a blender. But I like it to be loose. So we're going to go with a pinch of mint there and a couple of dollops of yogurt, a pinch of salt, and the other half of my lemon, which is down here. In there. And we're just going to wise that up for a couple of seconds in the NutriBullet. Not too much because it ends up as liquid. That's perfect. Maybe one more pass. A little taste. Check we don't need to add anything else. That's amazing. So good. Right, put that into a sorry, eating now. I'm going to go and get a little ramekin to put that in, and then I'll check on these samosas. In fact, they're in here. Let's have a look what we got here. Little ramekin, lovely. This is for serving at the end. I've got my gorgeous plate for Stick Farm Studios here. Which is going to be ideal serving these on. I'm running out of space, so that can go over there for a minute. Because we're going to go onto here first. Right, so that has risen to the top, which is a really good sign that it is done and it looks perfect. So I'm just going to, I'll whip that one out and then get you the second one to see. That's perfect. Right, so I'm just going to show you these to the camera. So you're going for this golden brown texture, colour. Okay, all sealed in. Perfect. Alright, so we're going to go for the second two now. And as I say, when they float to the surface, that's a good indication that they're done. Just, if you're dropping them into that hot fat, just make sure that you do it away from yourself. It doesn't splash back at you. It's the last thing you want. They'll be nasty. Right, whilst they're going, just going to get this sauce into a ramekin. It's just loose enough. If I'd have wiped that for much longer, it would have ended up like milk. But this is, for me, just perfect. That can wait. Now, that can go with everything else that needs cleaning up, which is building up rapidly over here. So I didn't really have to tease them too much. I'm going to give it a little lift off the bottom just in case it's getting stuck. But it looks all good to me at the moment. In there. A couple more minutes. As I say, floating to the surface is a good indication that they're done. The next thing we're going to do, once they're out, I'll put those there, put this here, is we're going to then literally just drop in a few blobs of the pakora batter. So you're just going to get like a tablespoon, like that much. You don't need to put too much in at once, because if you do put too much in at once, it ends up being overcooked on the outside and not quite cooked in the middle. So making more little ones is better than trying to make massive big spooned ones. Or big spoon ones, sorry. Spooned ones? I don't know what I'm saying. Right, so here we go. It's really starting to float, it's getting close. I think they are done. That one looks good. Get that there. And final one. That's all good. I'm just going to let that come back up to heat a little bit, because you put your metal tongs in there, they're cold, that's going to drop that about 10-15 degrees. So I'm just going to give it a few seconds. It won't take long to get up to temperature again, because this is a induction thing. It just cremates everything, but it is very good for using for deep frying, to be fair. It's the one thing it is good at. Right, so now I'm just going to get a mixture of this batter. Make sure that you don't have too much of the liquid and more of the veggies. I'm just going to kind of just drop these in. That's one. Just do like 3 at a time, I think. And we'll just make 6 of these. 2. We'll do 2 rounds of this, and then we'll plate up. And it's happy days. And then I've got plenty of mix. That mixture, you could make that up the day before if you're doing like an Indian, you know, get together with your mates or whatever. Easy enough to do, you know. Get that made up the night before. I wouldn't put any salt in though. You're going to make it beforehand. Don't put any salt in until... Oh, the oven's just died. Let's have a look. Get back on. Don't put any salt in until the day, because if you salt it, that's going to draw the moisture out of all of those vegetables and you end up with a really soggy mixture. So just add the salt the day before, but everything else you could make in advance. So these pakoras are looking good. Let them keep going for a bit longer. I'm just going to get a little bit of chilli just to finish that sauce off. For the Instagram massive. Chilli on top of that. Lovely. Right, these are looking sweet as. Just a little bit longer. Nearly there though. Flip those over. I'm going to get these out now. And then I'll come and show you in a second what I've made there, but I'm going to get another 3 in so that I'm not keeping you waiting while they cook. Brilliant. So we're going to go for 3 more in there. One, 2, 3. I think cooking in small batches is the way forward. To be honest with you, when I've served these at parties, gone down really well if you're kind of cooking them while people are watching, because it's, you know, people like to interact with this kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this bhaji up to you, or sorry, this pakora up to you. So this is kind of what we're looking for. Okay, the light in here is terrible, isn't it? Okay, so if you can see that, yeah, nice, crispy, delicious pakora. Just going to get these ones done, and then we're there. So let's think about plating. I'm going to get my plate here, and we've got the lovely dip. I'm going to go in the middle. Go for samosas. Just maybe drop that one in there. So samosas there. First of the bar, I keep calling them bhajis, they're pakoras. First of the pakoras here. And just finish it with a little bit of coriander. I've got a little bit more coriander in the fridge. I'm coming. And we're going to also, just going to turn these over now. Because sometimes they'll sit, if you don't help them along, they'll cook on one side more than the other. So you just got to help them underneath. They're nearly done. Not far off. So turn it up a little bit. Okay, we're going to go for some chopping up some lemon to go with these as well. I love a bit of wedge of lemon as a garnish with anything that's Indian. Anything that's got like a little bit of heat. Lemon is just the winning thing to have with it. So I'm just going to do some little wedges there to go over the top. So we can dash those around. There we go, in there. And then we're going to finish this with a little bit of coriander as well. Just a few leaves. Just for a little bit of vibrancy, a bit of colour, a bit of freshness. Say that, this is pretty rough coriander. It's from last week. I just use the fresh stuff up. But it'll do. It's still got a bit of life in it. I don't like to throw stuff away. Right then, so just going to whip these out. Where are we here? Let's just drop them onto the tray to begin with. One's broken into two here, that's alright then. Crispy bits that are left in here are the best. Alright, just let those cool off. And we've done it. Turn that off. Just do my editing. Let's get these, now that the fat's drained off, I'm just going to get these plated up. I'm sorry that the lighting's so rubbish in here for you to be able to see this, but I'm going to try and show you. Anyway, if you go and visit my Instagram page, it's probably tomorrow now, I'll try and get a better shot of what I've made up there for you. Get that there, just being arty-farty now with all this. Happy days. We have beautiful Indian, vegetarian or vegan. So all you need to do for the vegan version, there we go. Look at those. I'm sorry the light is terrible. As I say, go to my Instagram later on, you'll see a proper picture. Yeah, so sorry, go back to the vegan thing anyway. So if you're going to do this vegan, just use soya yogurt and everything else is vegan. Easy. You've smashed out some delicious food for the vegans that you've got to have around and you've got to try and entertain. And everybody will eat it and nobody will even know it's vegan, and happy days. Right then, I'm Adam Pennell, Shropshire lad. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back on Friday and I'm going to show you how to make an Indian naan bread pizza. So there's a bit of fusion going on. Bored of making pizzas, trying to do something a little bit different. Happy days. So we'll see you then. We've got some comments I've just seen come through, so I'm going to try and answer those. Can you drop round to the house? I can't, sorry. I've got another date tonight, but yeah, thanks. Anyway, right. Much love, guys. See you soon. Like, subscribe, share, all that jazz, and I'll see you next week. Ciao.